Hey guys!
Hello folks.
Happy Friday to everybody out in the world today. Hope everybody's doing wonderful.
We are.
I think so. It's sunny today. That's been nice. It was like a lovely 50 degrees this morning.
Yeah.
I was all about that. Chris is back in just shorts. No more leggings and long socks. So we're back to just shorts. We can see his beautiful legs again.
He's got some tree stump legs.
He sure does. Sometimes we would, we'd see somebody that we hadn't seen in a while, and he just, has gotten progressively bigger the last few years. And a couple years ago, we met up with one of our friends, and he took a look at Chris, and he was like, "Look at those gams." And Chris had never heard that word before, but my mom uses it all the time, so I knew what he was. Yeah. Anyways, so now we talk about his gams from time to time because it's fun. Everybody say hi to Luna.
Hi, Luna.
Just trying to push her way in.
Say hi.
What are you doing? Alrighty. Well, on Wednesday, we started your advanced tooling class, Roper edition. So we could do Field Note Journal edition at some point.
We could.
We could. She's
Luna
really trying to shove her way through that. Hi. Anyway, so we got our pattern drawn on the leather. We got it cut out. Or swivel knife. Yep, we got it cut out. You beveled it. And then
Mostly beveled.
Mostly beveled. So he finished the beveling, because if you guys watch that, we would be here for hours. And we don't want to be hours just beveling.
Yeah.
And then you started your backgrounding.
Yeah, I started the back grounder, and I'm using bar grounder.
He's using bar grounders.
And I've done a little more than half of it, but we'll do the rest of it right now. I like my leather fairly dry when I do my bar grounding. I seem to get a little more crisp outcome.
Did you want to show where we were at?
Kind of right there.
I was talking
This is
about,
where
but
we're
I didn't actually show it on camera. I don't think. Well, I know I didn't because I didn't switch the camera before.
Is that not good enough?
What if we don't know where we're at?
Well, we're in Springfield, Missouri, and I think Victor said he was coming with pizza.
Oh.
I don't think he said that, but
He said pizza sounds good.
now everybody knows that he did say it, and he's going to come with pizza now.
Oh, everybody's wondering about my coffee cups. Yeah, guys, I've been lazy recently.
It's not recently.
Hey. I haven't been changing. So I always bring my coffee in my thermos every day.
That's a bar ground.
This is what we do. But usually before the video, I would go pour it into a mug so that you guys could look at the mug. But I just haven't had the thought process to do that here in the past little bit. So it just stays in my thing. But I do have my Alice in Wonderland mug over there. I switched it out for my thing 1 and 2. 1 and 2 went back home. Got my Alice mug, a great customer. Or then sometimes I use my Springfield leather mug because it holds a lot of coffee.
And Luna wants to do this.
Luna does. She's all
Really
about.
bad.
She would like to try.
Oh.
Michael, the Roper wallet is not the same size as the biker wallet. They're probably pretty similar in dimension. I don't know right off the top of my head what the Roper dimension is. But I don't think that they're exactly
I don't even
compatible.
know they aren't. They're a little different.
The printouts that I put on the first video, I'll link them here in just a second.
Dean, we're backgrounding right now. So we didn't want to make you guys watch all the backgrounding today. So Denny he got most of it done at some point this week. And we're finishing it up.
And I cannot do this silently. I've tried. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Today's my wife's birthday, by the way.
Aww.
Everybody wish Mary June a happy birthday.
How sweet. You didn't bring her with you?
No.
It wasn't take your birthday wife to work day? Stop it. You're
No.
gonna mess it up.
Should I have done that?
I don't know. It'd be fun. Well, I'd love to have her in as a guest sometime. She could sit on the other side of you, and we can make your life real fun.
Yeah, you can make fun of me.
Yeah. It'll be an adventure. Right.
I'll suggest that to her.
What number bar grounder are you using?
This is a number 40.
A number 40. So he's got his 40 set. He's got a 3, 5, and a 7?
Yeah,
Or is
3,
it-
5, and 7.
Okay. And those are the amount of dots in the bar.
Yeah, actual beads on the bar.
Beads on the bar. I like it.
Bar beads.
Yeah, so we do, stop it. We do sell a set of bar grounders here. Do we specify what number they are? We have one set. We do not have multiple sizes of the bar grounders at Springfield Leather. Denny has 3 different sizes through Barry King.
Yeah, we do. We have a set of Craft Japan bar grounders.
Yeah, they're real nice.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're very, very tiny, very delicate. And I use them a lot when I'm doing something really small.
Okay. Do you have any tips for people while they're bar grounding? What's your bar grounding?
I generally start on a large area. I generally will go around the perimeter, which is what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
And then I fill in. And generally I work my bar grounder in sort of a fan. If you just go back and forth like this, you will end up with a bunch of, it's not a real smooth look.
Okay.
But if you fan it around, like, I don't know if
We're right here.
I don't know if you can see this part that I did right here. You can see where I just kind of fanned it this way.
Okay.
You know, whereas if I just went across and then started another course and went across, you would see those lines.
Look how good that is. You guys see that fan?
Yeah, that one right there in the flower. Yeah, that one right there. You can see where I just kind of fanned it across.
Around. Okay.
But I did the perimeter first, and then I just went and filled in the rest of it. But here I'm going to do this perimeter.
Locksmith asked, is number 40 a standard? Or is that, I don't know.
Yeah, you can use a number 40 on just, if you're asking if that's a standard size to use, you can use it on most of your projects. You know, when you get into, if you were doing a saddle or something like that, you might want a little bit larger. If you're doing a really finely tooled belt or something, you might want a smaller one. But the number 40 would suffice for most of your projects, I think.
Aw, Dean's so sweet. We're talking about how you can find our videos on YouTube, and somebody asked when do we post our videos, and we said we post right after we end, and Dean said they always end too early.
Well, that's better than I've heard from some people. There was one guy that said the only thing I can say about your videos is they're too long. And I thought, well, shoot, take a nap.
Turn them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, just come back later, watch for 15 minutes, and then come back and pretend like it's a new one. Denny, do you have any, when you're bar grounding, can you go over a bar ground? Should you not try to go over your bar ground?
Ideally, you don't want to overlap.
Okay.
But it's pretty hard not to.
Right.
And especially when you're fanning across something, the bottom part of it is going to be just over. Mm-hmm. You know, the end of it, the wide part is not going to be overlapped near as much. But like I say, ideally, no, you should not overlap. But there's no ideal.
Come here.
Here I switched to this one with less beads on it because I'm in a little tight area.
No, sit. Do it. Do it.
But the only way to get proficient at any of this stuff is just to do it over and over and
She was basically staying on the table before we got started.
Do it, Luna. Do it. Hey, do it. Shake. Shake. Oh, lay down. Lay down. Hold. Come on. Do it. Come on. Guys, she's too nervous.
get her a paintbrush.
Come on, do it. No, she'll lay back down. you go.
So we got a Luna treat, and then we also had a Liz treat that was redeemed.
A Liz treat?
Yeah.
I don't like that thing.
Uh,
Yeah, that's right there in that.
yeah.
Here you go. Okay. Well, Luna got her treat, even though she won't show you. Hi, guys. All right. How's that background going?
It's doing good. I'm getting there. In a flower pattern with a lot of different things in it like this, it's easy to get lost. You don't want to bar ground out something that shouldn't be bar grounded.
Oh!
And I have done that before. Say, dadgum, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
When you get done with this little area, Denny, will you show how close you bar grounded to your beveling and talk about that a little bit? I'll switch to that overhead camera.
Okay. Ideally, you want to get right up against your cut and bevel line, but you're better off staying a hair away from it than you are going over it.
Okay.
You don't want to bevel over on top of one of your features. Rule of thumb, basically, if you're going to antique this, your antique will cover almost a full bead of your bar grounder. So if I was bar ground in this area right here, which I'm not going to, but if I was, and I was away like one full bead from this edge, when I spread my antiquing on, the solid part of the antiquing would stay in that part that I didn't bar ground. I don't know if you can understand what I'm trying to say, but your antiquing will take care of a little bit if you're
not quite as close as you might like.
Yeah, I mean, ideally get right up against it.
Okay.
But if you can't, like there are some areas.
But don't go over.
Yes, don't go over.
Okay. That's
You're better off in a little tiny area, an area where I would use this one with 3 beads. If you've got an area that the 3 bead is too big for, you're better off not doing anything to it.
Okay.
Because your antiquing is going to fill in that whole area anyway.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, that's just my thoughts on that. So,
the bevel's pushing it down and letting the work that you want set on top, and then the bar grounding is just disguising it a little bit more to put it further into the background.
yes, I think.
I'm good.
All right, where have I missed, Liz?
I don't know. Is all this good?
Yeah, these are all parts of the feature. I think.
Parts of the feature.
Parts of the feature.
You don't want to smush the feature.
Yeah. Parts is parts, you know.
That's right.
I think I've got it all.
Okay.
Okay, let's put away our bar grounder. When I go to the next step, a lot of times I'll say, wow, I forgot that little piece of bar grounder. I'll go back and bar ground it then.
You'll find it, yeah.
Yeah. But next step, we've just done our background. So the next step will be number 9. If you've got this list, which will be the thumbprint.
Okay.
Now, if you don't have a thumbprint, you can use a pear shader. On Sheridan style carving, a thumbprint is much better.
Okay. So it looks like Denny has listed for our thumbprint tools, you've got the SKP 861, or if you have just a pear shader, we've got the P217.
Yeah, because that's a fairly small pear shader.
Okay. Yeah.
You know. I'm going to wet this a little bit.
So that SKP is one of our higher price tools. It's one of our nicer, a little bit more refined tools from just our standard line. So it's probably like 15, 20 bucks somewhere in there for that one tool, where a lot of these other ones are going to be like the $7 to $8 tools that we have. So.
Now, I wet this. I put a little moisture back in it because I like it to be kind of damp when I'm using the thumbprint, and the thumbprint moves a lot of leather, and it's got a fairly wide footprint on it, so you need a little more moisture in it to do the job that you're trying to do.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with the flowers, just like I started when I.
You always start with the flowers.
Yeah, always start with your big prominent features, and
Oh, maybe
your
you
thumbprint, you don't want to hit straight up and down. You want to tip it a bit. And I walk it just a little bit. Just remember the flow of your flour. Everything goes towards that flour center. You know, and there's 100 different ways to do each flour. You know, I could go out and actually pinch the edge of that flour and make it a little more ruffled looking. I'm not going to on this, but and you want to hit this tool hard enough where it burnishes your leather. You want the leather to turn dark underneath your tool.
Okay. Tony, if you type in bar grounder on the website, does it pull up an item?
I don't know. Thumbprint has a footprint.
Thumbprint has a footprint. Did I say that?
I don't know. Did you?
Troy still did.
Pulls up A100 background.
Two words.
It doesn't pull up a bar grounder, that's for sure.
I sold one to somebody on retail the other day. We'll get the numbers for those tools for the ones. Denny's using the Berry Kings. We'll get the numbers for our bar grounder sets. Give us
Look
just a
at
second.
any other tooling video we've done, and we list the bar grounder for the Berry King one, because people would call us. And then Berry King was like, hey, were you sharing the bar grounder one? Because we've been selling so many.
Oh yeah.
SKA 101357. SKA 101.
Okay. SKA 101, or if you just probably type in SKA 10, you'll get the selection of bar grounders that we carry. Or you can go to Berry King and buy his nice fancy ones
Yeah.
for $50 to $60 a tool. But I mean, you can definitely do that.
Or if you don't want to get it from us, well, we can go that route. Try to get it quicker, you just go to Berry.
This is what is giving all of those pedals the definition, which is why you want to hit it so hard, because you really want to drive that leather down.
Oh,
Right.
you said it has a large footprint. The thumbprint has a large footprint.
Yeah. Yeah, the thumbprint looks like a footprint.
What is, a pear shader?
Did you
Use
bring
a
up
pear shader in place of
No.
the thumbprint?
You can, but it doesn't give you quite the same effect.
It's not, a pear shader is not really the Sheridan style.
Right. Well, I'm not saying you can't use a pear shader in a lot of different spots in Sheridan style carving,
Yeah.
but for the most part, most people will use a thumbprint instead of that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a pear shader actually is meant to work back and forth and
Yeah.
kind of waller out an area. You
Okay.
know? Whereas the thumbprint is just meant to just do what it does, just that tool.
So this is a very long, skinny tool.
Yes.
It's a long, skinny tool. Your pear shaders are pear-shaped. They've got a fat end, and then it comes out like a teardrop shape.
Yeah.
For the most part. So it's just it's a different shape, and it doesn't allow you so much to kind of like drag and do this taper that Denny has
Yeah.
going through all these pedals.
And a pear shader it's
Yes.
concave all the way around, side to side and front to back. If you will look at this thumbprint, it's pretty much straight across here. It's got a little bit of a curve
That
side to side, but straight across, it's pretty much straight.
Yeah.
Which tool was this?
The thumbprint.
Oh, I know what was the number.
So the thumbprint, the SKP is in pear, 816.
861.
Oh, I'm sorry, 861.
Yeah.
There's my dyslexia
Yeah.
kicking into
And
it.
it's, you know, these Craft Japan tools that we have are I hate to say this, but they're almost dead ringers for a Barry King tool. Because
They're real nice.
yeah, I've got Bevelers of the Craft Japan and Barry Kings, and they're interchangeable. I can use them together. You know, different sizes will match up together nicely. So. And this is a tool, a little bit goes a long ways. You don't want to overdo it. Like a lot of people will take this tool and drag it all the way to the center there. You don't need to do that. Like this, I went a little bit further than I normally do because I wasn't paying much attention.
He's too busy talking to you guys.
Yeah. But you do tip this tool. You aren't trying to make an impression of the whole tool all the way across. You're just one end or the other. And that's another point. It's got a small end and a big end, you know, and you want to use the end that matches the feature that you're in.
Oh, so you can flip it around and just use the small end if you have a really small flower.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. If you're into an area that's got a real tight, like right here on this little part here, I'll use the small end. And I'll show you when we get to it.
Nice. All right. Yeah, Jolly, we try to not talk a lot when we're tapping, but sometimes we do just continue the conversation, and it happens.
If I don't tap, we won't get this done.
That's right.
But notice the nice dark burnish I get when I hit this tool. If you don't use enough pressure, if you don't hit it hard enough, you aren't going to get the burnish that you're really wanting.
There you go. I've turned all the filters off for YouTube, so they can hear straight from the microphone.
All right, I think I've got my flowers done.
Okay. So that's where we're at after our thumb printing.
Yeah.
That's a perfect, like, shot size.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. Now we're going to go to this one leaf. These other two leaves, I'm not going to thumbprint any on them, and I'll show you later why. When you thumbprint your leaves, you don't want to go perpendicular to the leaf stem. You want to go at a pretty steep angle. Makes it. It gives it a little more style to the leaf.
Follow that vantage point.
Yeah. And there again, if I followed through with this, I would come down that stem. That's what you're wanting to do. You're wanting to
create a flow.
This vine, yeah.
I think that's what's so aesthetically pleasing about the Sheridan floral is that you have this really visually pleasing flow to the whole image that happens.
Yeah. Okay. Now this feature here and this one here are what I call a fold over, and that's another fairly prominent feature on this. So I'm gonna thumbprint it next. Whoop-de-doo, huh?
Yeah. Sorry, I was distracted by Dean having to go check his goldfish. He'll be right back.
Okay, now let's just go and do all these chicken necks all the way around.
Oh wait, we decided it was turkey last time.
Turkey necks.
It's the turkey necks, yeah.
Okay, and I'll just start with one of these flowers, and I'm going to go all the way around the inside.
Are you still using the fat end?
I'm still using the fat end,
okay.
But when I get to a spot where I need the thin end, I will definitely mention it. Okay, I've gone all the way around the inside of this flower. Now let's go around the outside. And if you notice, I'm not going a long ways. I'm just adding a little texture to this. This little deal right here is going to be a flower bud, so I'm not going to do anything to it.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm not doing anything to my flower stem.
Okay.
So let's go to another flower. Let's go to these two little pansy-looking flowers.
What'd you call me?
I called you
Things we can't
Lefty
say.
Tony.
Lefty Tony.
All right. Now I'm going to switch over to the small end of this pear shader for this one because I'm fairly close to the edge. But you're going to get the same effect. Now I'm going to turn it around and use the big end again. There you have it, side by side. You can see the two. I mean, it's just a smaller area that you're covering. Yeah, I think I'll use the small end right there. And small right here. And over here. Most of this turkey neck is behind this leaf, so I just want to kind of give you an impression that it goes under there. I'm not going to do anything to those. All right, next flower.
I think what's an acantha leaf? Acanthus?
Acanthus leaf?
Is that what the technical,
Yeah, that's, well,
or is that something else?
basically all Sheridan style carving is an offshoot of the acanthus leaf,
Okay.
which is, I think, a Greek, like an olive or a fig leaf or something like that.
Something that they used to carve into stone.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you look at your dollar bills, American dollar bills, they have a lot of acanthus.
Yeah, a lot of the fancy
leaves and
engraving that you
stuff.
see has that kind of
Yeah.
look to it.
All right. Small end.
John, so Denny just does everything kind of in order, and he always starts with the flowers. So every step that he has taken so far on this tooling journey, he starts with the flowers. He cuts the flowers in first, and then he cuts everything else in. We trace the flowers, and then you trace everything else. You cut the flowers, and then you cut everything else. He beveled the flowers, and then he beveled everything else. So the step that he's on, which is the thumbprint, he thumbprinted the flowers, and now he's thumbprinting everything else.
Yep.
You didn't do the flowers in a particular order, did you?
No, I just started with a flower, and that's another thing. When you start something, do the whole thing. Like, don't do part of a flower and then start doing some chicken necks. Do the whole flower.
Right.
But the order that I actually do that in is not so necessary, but it's what I do. I can keep track of myself better when I do that.
Yeah.
Especially in something like this, you've got a lot of lines here.
I almost wonder if maybe he's talking about specifically making sure that you have the correct petals of the flower laying on top of each other. And that's something that we didn't really talk about.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of I cover this in the novice class.
Okay.
But I always have the novice people, after they've cut their whole pattern in, I'll have them go use a stylus or something, and make a dot in every background area.
Okay.
And of course I give them a sample to go by so they can pick out their background areas,
Right.
because they've never done this before. But after they've done all their background areas, I say, okay, now, if you will look at this sample, all of the background areas are beveled down.
Okay.
So any line that borders a background area will bevel on that side, on the background side. Every line.
Every line.
I don't care if there's just an 1/8 of an inch of background area on that line. That whole line will bevel on that side.
Okay.
So if you're wondering which side to bevel on, always bevel on the background side of your line.
Okay.
And if you will remember that, it will run true to form on every pattern that you do. And if you're in an area where there's no background, you know, you can pretty much use your own judgment. But like this line here, can I get an overhead shot, Tony? Like this line here, there is actually no background area on this line.
Right.
But on this side, this is the same feature. On this side, see, there's a little background area. So I have to bevel on this side of this line.
To catch your background area.
So in retrospect, I would bevel on the same side, on this line.
Right. Well,
But
and
there is background area here. Okay.
yeah, you get there eventually.
Yeah. Almost all of your lines will have a background area on them somewhere.
Yeah, like this one hardly has any, but it does right there. It has
Yeah,
a little teeny
there's
bit.
one little teeny bit there. So
Yeah.
it has to bevel on that side.
Yeah. And
And-
also you want to like visually, these things are stacking on top of each other. So then you need to think about that as you choose the lines that you bevel because you have depth. The beveling gives you your depth.
That's right.
And it tells you what is on top of the other thing. And if you get that wrong, it's not going to look right when you look at it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're beveling someone else's pattern, look at that pattern and
Yeah.
see what they've done. You know, another thing to remember, you never bevel part way on one side of a line and the rest of the line on the other side. You never do that. Never do that. I will spank your hands. I mean,
We finally found a Denny pet peeve.
it's unheard of. People try to do it all the time and say, well, why not? I'll say, because it looks stupid.
Because it looks stupid.
I mean, well, the main thing most people don't think about is they're beveling a piece of vegetation. Mm-hmm. You know, if it's a stem, you know, don't want to bevel the stem. I wouldn't want to bevel this stem this direction. I wouldn't want to.
This one, Tony. Thanks.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to bevel this stem down.
Right.
I want to highlight this stem, so I bevel the background down. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just something. Practice looking at what you're trying to accomplish in the end. I don't know if I made any sense at all there.
You made great sense. I think it was wonderful.
Okay, I think I've got everything thumbprinted. There's one little spot. I'll do that. All right. Next step. Thumbprint. We want to use our flower center liner. A lot of people have never used a flower center liner. And this, you use this just like a beveler,
Right here.
only it's flat. So instead of holding this tool straight up and down, you'll need to tip it a bit.
Okay.
Because you aren't trying to make an impression of the whole tool. You're just trying to make an impression of this front edge.
So this is our center liner?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go around the flower center of every flower.
Because that center is starting to come back out a little bit as you tool everything.
Yeah, well, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make it look like your petals are curved
under.
inward and your flower center is standing up. And this is another tool you want to make a nice burnish with this tool.
Okay, so let's hear. So our center liner number is P as in Paul, B as in boy, 02, D as in dog, -1.
And it makes a difference the flower center that you use too. The flower center that we have here, this PJ040, it actually, if you will look at it, it's actually beveled on the outside of those beads anyway. And what we're doing here is laying the shoulder of that bevel back a little further with our center liner. But this is one reason why we just lightly set this flower center to begin with, because we're going to go back over it here in a little bit. But if you will look there, if you see what I've done with the center liner on that flower, I'm going to do that to all the rest of them.
Jennifer, Denny uses 2 different sizes of bevelers. As he's beveling, he uses a kind of a standard and a narrowed checkered beveler.
Yeah, and you know, I've got probably 6 different sizes on my bench, but these 2 that I've got here are the ones that I use the very most. I can do almost every pattern with the 2 that I've got. You can always, when you do this, you become a tool collector, you guys.
Hey,
you
Tony.
need to realize that, because I've got probably 250 tools on my bench.
Oh, you have a lot.
And I want more.
You never have enough.
Yeah, because you can always make a different effect with a different tool.
I feel like that's pretty standard for any hobby slash
Yeah.
like things that you do with your hands. Like there are always more tools because people, you know, they got into a spot and they're like, I needed a tool to do this thing and I didn't have it. So then they make it and then that becomes a new tool, and we've just done that for centuries, and now there's just a
Right,
lot of tools to
right.
do all those little specialty things that we all do.
But Jim Linnell, when he was here, and he made a point that's just really relevant. He said, if you don't have a tool that you need, use what you've got. Just make it work, you know. I mean, if I didn't have a center liner, I would go around this with a beveler, I think. And you could do some facsimile of what we're doing here. It wouldn't lay the shoulder back as far, but it would work. And that's another thing. A lot of times you'll end up with little lines, little kind of sun ray lines coming out of here. And that looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know? I know Kerry Schwartz does this with he does it with a thumbprint a lot of times. It's a vertical line instead of a
Oh.
horizontal. And I've seen that, and I've tried it before. It looks really nice. But there's all sorts of different effects that you can get. But this is basic, and it looks pretty good, I think. And if you mess your flower center up a little bit doing this, don't worry too much about it, because you're going to reset that and re-accentuate it here in a minute.
Michael asked if a leaf liner would work here.
No,
Okay.
the leaf liner is angled. We're going to use the leaf liner for what it's meant for here in a little bit. I will show you.
So you are making sure to keep within the bounds of your swivel cuts on each petal. Are you?
No, you
No.
can cover those up, because we're going to redo
Okay.
that too. When I'm giving the class, I tell the students, I say, try not to get ahead of me. Because if you start doing things that I haven't shown you anything about, you aren't going to know what to do.
What the purpose was.
Yeah. Well, and you aren't going to be able to do what you really need to do.
Gotcha.
You know, because you're hopefully learning something brand new here when you do this.
That's perfect.
Now here, I'm getting over here towards this flower, so I've got to tip my tool quite a bit more, because I don't want to get it on that flower petal.
And the butt of that tool is just curved just enough.
Yeah.
So you don't have straight lines going around your petal. It's curved, so it takes that angle in. Takes that curve in.
Okay. Now I've done our flower center liner. Next on the list, it says stutter the lines on the flower petals. And to do that, I don't know what else to call it, so I just call it a stutter line. But we're going to use our camouflage tool for that. And any camouflage tool that you have will work pretty good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I got you. This one.
I need you so much.
It's the C880. C880.
And what I'm going to do on each flower petal, you aren't trying to make the impression
Right here. Right here. Right here. This is where, Denny, right here.
Okay. You aren't trying to make the impression of this part of the tool. You're trying to make the impression of these lines here.
Okay.
If you do get a little bit of this, it's not going to hurt anything, but that's not what you're trying to do.
We're not
So
putting a camo around an edge.
Yeah, so you want to tip your tool back, and I'm going to go around each. Let's start with this one, with each flower petal, and I'm just going to hit it lightly 2 or 3 times, just to give it a little bit of texture.
So we got that, everybody. That's what we're doing right here.
Yeah. And what that'll do?
So kind of between your thumbprints.
Yeah, just right in the center of each petal. And this does 2 things. One, it gives the petal some texture, and another one, it kind of fades out that thumbprint mark that you made.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like most of tooling is just putting impressions in the leather so that when you antique it, it's got something to hold on to.
Yeah.
But it also just adds that visual interest.
Well, you're trying to make a 3-dimensional
Yeah.
deal out of a flat piece of leather. And you actually are, because you can feel this. I've always thought if I was blind, this is what I would want to feel as a piece of tooled leather.
Huh.
And see if I could figure out what I was touching.
Do you ever just do that? You just blindfold yourself?
I'm blindfolded anyway.
That should be a competition. We should
Yeah.
put a blindfold on Denny and then bring him tooled things and see if he can guess what they are.
You guys would be so disappointed.
We'd probably have a good time though.
Alright. This, if you guys can hear, I'm not hitting this tool really hard because I'm not trying to say, hey, this is a tool mark. I'm just trying to add a little bit of texture to these flowers.
Dean, once Denny gets done with this process, I'll lift it back up and we'll look at it again.
Yeah, you can see what I've done to all of the flowers.
Michael wants to know what you would charge for this.
$135 is what I've got on most of the tooled wallets and stuff that I've got out there. You know, people say, "Oh, well, I can't pay that much." Well, I'm not asking them to. You know, but if someone wants something tooled like this from you, you can look at it 2 ways. I want to do it for practice, or I want to make some money at it. And if you want to do it for practice, you've at least got to pay for your material.
Right.
And a little bit of your overhead, your lights and whatever, gas to heat your shop or whatever. You know, but if you want to make money at it, you've got to charge for your time too.
That's right.
You know, and this kind of stuff does not come in a few minutes.
No.
As you're seeing. Okay, show them this now.
Denny's like, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. So we've got all of our camo. What did you call that? Stutter lines.
Yeah.
So we've got our stutter lines.
You can use the camouflage tool like I just used, or you can use a veiner to do the same thing. But like I was saying, the main point is you're just trying to add a little texture to your thing. You aren't trying to make a big statement with that tool. All right, now we're going to use our veiner, and you need a veiner that's fairly flat. It doesn't have a lot of curvature to it.
Okay.
And this is just a straight line veiner. It doesn't have any scallops.
So that's probably our V715.
Yeah, V715.
Okay.
That's not what this one is, but it's pretty darn close.
Is that the PU? No.
No, this is a V746.
748.
748.
So this is the V748.
It's probably an obsolete tool, one
Okay.
I've had for a long time. But I don't know if I can see it so you guys can
Yeah, perfect. That's
see
perfect.
this. I'm going right at the edge of this flower petal, and I'm going right to the flower center. And I'm not going to hit this tool straight up and down. I'm going to tip it. See what I've done there? I don't know if you can. I was right there. And I
really just gave
re-accentuated
it-
that bevel line.
Yeah.
Because when I did all this other stuff, it mashed your
Yeah.
bevel line out. Plus, this gives it an illusion of depth. And I'm going to go around to on every flower petal. You want to get right up against that flower center, and you just want to follow the contour of your petal. That's why you want a veiner that's fairly straight and not
Yeah.
really curved too much.
Not one of those crazy squiggly ones.
Yeah.
Not a scallop one.
None of that. Just a.
You can use a scalloped one, but I'm not here. There we are. I lost track of where I was.
It's everybody's goal today.
Oh, closer. Good morning, Jessica. Your friend is here. Things will be better now.
How's that for you, Dean? Denny, don't move from that spot.
You're doing great. Actually, you just keep doing what you're doing.
Good. You guys, it's really hard to tool like this where everybody can see what you're doing.
Oh, can you?
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Chevy, this is a veiner. His specific tool is going to be really similar to a V715. V is in veiner.
Victor.
715.
Victor with pizza. We're gonna be bringing.
I'll take a
pizza.
Hawaiian.
Yeah, if we're bringing pizza, you know what goes with pizza?
Pineapple.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, pineapple goes. Denny, can you adjust? Thank you.
There you go.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, all I heard what goes good with pizza, and I figured you were looking for pineapple.
Oh, no.
I already said a Hawaiian. I got it covered.
All right.
Okay.
Now show them that.
Is that close enough for everybody?
Yeah.
You see that one? Look at that. Nice floral. This is so close. You guys really see all that Tulin. Look at it. Would you look at it?
I mean, I can get the macro lens out if you want.
No.
And I'll just
I think we're all right.
give you a shot with Denny.
Now I'm going to take my
That's
flowers.
right, Marshall.
Now I'm going to take the flower center
Okay.
and we're going to reset it.
Okay.
And remember, we set it pretty lightly.
This is
at
too
first.
zoomed in now.
Bummer.
Let me wet this one more time.
Denny, if you can work on that one little square inch.
Yeah,
part
like
of your
right over
brain.
it, like right here would be
Yeah.
great. You can.
Can I move my?
There we go.
All right,
That's most of the flowers, guys.
guys, this is really trying. All right, I'm going to set this. I'm going to center this on this
This is pretty
old
wonderful, actually.
deal that I had, and I'm really going to give it a good shot
He's gonna give it a good shot.
because we're going to I wet it so that I can reshape it because we've already got
Hello.
it
decided to
stamped
say hi.
once.
Okay, just after this one, you're gonna have to adjust.
I'm done.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we got them all. They're all on there.
Now
That's
you.
it. Are we done?
No.
Oh.
What do you want me to be done?
We have 5 more
Now
steps. We
we're
have to do
gonna-
our leaf liners.
Now we're at our leaf liner.
Okay.
And the leaf liner,
Thanks, Wayne.
Well, just call the pizza store, Victor. Just tell them where to ship it. 1463 South Glenstone.
So this is a
That's
smooth
our-
one.
No?
Oh,
it's
does it
got
have
lines
lines.
on
it? It
It's got
does.
lines.
It looks smooth in like an angle over
That's
here.
because we're focused on your fingers and not your
Well, you know.
veiner or your liner.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's got 2 different angles. So we're going to set it on this.
So this is our PB016.
Yeah.
That's so close I can see the hair on Liz's finger.
I know.
Okay. This is another tool. You don't hit it straight up and down. You have to tip this tool. And it's got 2 angles on it.
Just right. Just.
So you want to make sure you're using the right angle because you want to be tipped up towards the top of the leaf with your
Don't
line.
use the left angle, use the right angle. You'll make your triangles happy.
Use this just like a beveler because that's basically what it is.
Man, Tony, you finally found the shot. You found the tooling shot.
Yeah, nobody gives a crap about the audio anymore. We're just in awe of the... Who cares if we can hear Denny talk? We can see it.
This tool, you're doing the same
Get rid of
thing
the
you
picture,
did with
picture.
your flower center liner, only you're doing it on each side of your leaf stem.
Okay.
You're just laying the shoulder of what you've already beveled back further. Am I okay?
Yes.
Denny, will you point at that flower center? That's the flower center. Okay, carry on.
Thank you. Carry on.
Is this a leaf liner? Is that what you call it? What
This
is
is
it?
a leaf liner.
Leaf
yes.
liner. This is a leaf liner tool.
There you go.
Where do I need to be?
Perfect.
About like
Yeah, you're
that. Just remember the lines need to go up towards the top of your leaf.
Does it matter whether you go up the leaf or down the leaf?
No,
Okay.
it doesn't. Whichever way is easiest for you.
Okay.
The leather squirrel said, do they make a left-handed veiner? Denny is left-handed, guys. So everything that Denny is doing, if you're left-handed, you can do too.
Yeah. Actually, probably the only two tools that are right-handed specifically are a strap cutter, a draw gauge,
Okay.
and a
The skiver.
the skiver. Yeah,
Yep.
that safety skiver.
Otherwise, well, and scissors. Those come right and left-handed.
Yeah. But all these tools work either-handed. And I'm sure that was a sarcastic question anyway.
What was the sarcastic question?
The left-handed tool.
It's not funny. I don't find it funny at all. Liz and I were talking about left-handed scissors, Denny, and I think you have the same.
Denny uses
Whatever.
right-handed scissors.
I use right-handed scissors. When I hold left-handed scissors now, because I've used left-handed or right-handed scissors so much, they feel weird. And so I had Liz
Can
grab.
you make them? I can't make them work because
Left-handed ones?
you have to work a pair of scissors so that
With tension.
the blades mesh together right. And if you're used to using right-handed scissors, and get a pair of left-handed scissors, you spread
Right.
those two blades apart.
Correct.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. I think you and I have talked about it before. Whenever I hold left-handed scissors in my hand as left-handed scissors, I'm like, this is all wrong.
Yeah.
And Liz is like, well, what does it feel like holding right-handed scissors in your left hand? I said, well, here, hold these in your right hand. And she's like, oh, that's weird. And I was like, it just feels normal after a while. Your brain gets used to
I
it.
remember when I was in elementary school, you had to cut out stuff with paper, and they give you those little toy scissor deals.
The toy
And
scissors?
It would just eat my
Eat 'em.
thumb
Yeah.
alive. But after you do that enough times, you figure out how to do it where it doesn't hurt quite so bad.
Yeah. Or you get scissor calluses.
Yeah,
But
scissor
it used to be
callus.
right on top of your thumb with
Yeah.
those plastic ones where
Yeah,
the mold would
that's
come
stupid,
together.
yeah.
Oh.
Little Fear was asking if you could find the link to the leaf liner, Tony.
Oh,
It's
sure, I can. Yep.
PB016.
I'm able to do that.
Well, would you?
You just
Oh,
take your...
will I? Will I do that? Okay.
Okay. All right. That's enough of that stuff. Okay, we've done our leaf liner. Now we're going to vein our leaves and our flower stems. And I'm going to use a scallop veiner for that. And you can't see that. But if you notice, it's scalloped.
It sure is.
And you can use any scallop veiner you've got. The thinner it is, the better off you're going to be.
Okay.
Because most of your old traditional style veiners are pretty thick
Okay.
and kind of clumsy looking.
Leaf liner what? PB what?
016.
Yeah, use this veiner.
Well, that's the leaf liner. This veiner is V417 or
PU030.
PU030.
Cause this one I'm sure is obsolete and I know it's been altered. Cause it was thick.
He knows it's been altered.
All right, now I'm just gonna go on each side of this leaf stem.
Oh, okay, we need you back in this corner. Okay, thanks.
Okay, and there again, you don't hit this tool flat. You never hit a veiner flat. You're only using one end of
It
it.
seems like you hit very few tools flat. The
Yeah.
center, the center flower.
Yeah.
The flower center. You
Yeah,
hit that
and a
flat.
beveler.
And a beveler.
You want to do the beveler flat. And this, you can put these as close together or as far apart as you want, as long as you're consistent on each side of the leaf.
Do you offset them or do you match them up?
If you're doing them real close together, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
If you're doing, which I will do over here, I'll just put like 3 or 4 on each side, and I will want to match those up. These I did match, but it's really
Point to the one you just did, Denny. Hold on. Don't whack it yet. Okay.
right there.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Carry on.
All right. And these are the same leaves, so I'm going to try and make them about the same as far as distance between each one.
Denny, while you do that, you know what I learned the other day?
What?
There is a plant. Well, it's a vine that grows on other plants, and it can sense the shape of the leaves that are on the plant that it's growing on, and it morphs into those shapes. So it will
Really?
adjust the shape of the leaves that it grows to have either be smooth and pointed or to have lobes. You know how some leaves have lobes?
I got two earlobes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's the craziest thing. So it's kind of a parasitical vein.
Wow.
Or not a vein, but a vine.
Kind
And
of like
What's
a
the name of
chameleon, only it's a plant
Yeah.
with shapes. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
What's the
I
name
don't
of it?
remember.
Okay, well, I guess you didn't learn too much.
Well, you know.
Okay, now I'm going to do
about
this
it.
this other leaf, and I'm not going to do these very close together. I'll just do 3. So I'm going to start at the bottom, then I'm going to go to the top, put one there, then I'm going to hit it about in the center.
Okay, so I thought Mike was being funny earlier when he asked what colors are your flowers, but now I'm realizing that he was actually just looking for some help coloring his flowers. Would you like to help Mike color his flowers?
Mike,
Denny doesn't do a lot of flower
I
coloring.
don't. But if I was going to color them, I wouldn't use paint. I would use dye, a colored dye. Well, I feel like paint just
It's too much.
It obliterates all of your tooling. It just fills it all in, and
Yeah.
you don't see all that definition. Whereas the dye.
Now you
it
might. I think
penetrates.
Denny is once in a while he might use like a bright color for the center or something, and that you might paint if you were going to do
Yeah.
like blue centers or
Yeah.
something fun.
And I have colored flowers and leaves before,
Mm-hmm.
but like I say, I'll just use a dye.
But
And-
you can use a nice blue, a pink. I mean, whatever colors flowers are, you
Yeah.
can color. You could use red, pink, purple, some oranges,
Yeah.
like a reddish orange. You could kind of blend up. Who's that person that does the flowers that like Lindsay bought, like the actual leather flowers?
I don't know.
Do you remember who that is?
Boquilla.
Buquilla.
Is the name of the plant.
Oh. Do you remember the person that made Lindsay's flowers, like the actual leather flowers? She's got like the orchid and,
I've never seen them.
Oh,
They sound pretty.
they're on her desk.
Oh,
She
Okay.
got them from somebody. I don't remember the.
Okay. Now
sorry.
I'm going to use this same veiner on our flower stems. On this flower stem, I'm going to pick an aim point. I'm just telling you guys this. You don't have to make a mark, but I'm going to on this so that you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
But every time that I place this tool, I'm going to aim towards that mark. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to hold this tool flat.
Tony, back over to our side. Oh. Okay.
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 If you see my aim point, it's down here. Now I'm not going to hold this tool flat, but I am going to tip it, but I'm going to aim it towards that.
Towards that dot.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm going to be right up against the flower petal and just make a mark.
Okay.
Then I'm going to move it just a little bit, but I'm going to aim towards that point. What I'm trying to say is you're going to fan this all the way across this flower stem. And just use that mark as an aim point. And don't go real far apart. Go pretty close together, but keep aiming towards that mark.
Thank you, Michael. Annie Libertini.
Yeah, Robert S. was saying that too on
Okay.
YouTube.
Yeah, I would go look at her flowers and then choose some of those colors. I mean, they're beautiful.
Well, finally we got tooling video right.
It's bound to happen one of these days, guys.
Alright. I think I've got all my flower stems. Alright, now we're going to go to these little, remember I told you about the little flower buds?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use this same veiner on the edge of these flower buds.
Is this a Dennyism or is this a Sheridan-esque feature?
The flower bud?
I don't know. Flower buds are everywhere.
Well, I mean, this technique of
The way I'm doing it. I don't know. I'm sure I've seen someone else do it, and I emulated that. This is a little tiny one, so.
Oh, I did see that, Amanda, about next year's Pantone color. It's really pretty. That would make gorgeous flowers if you use that, the magenta color that they chose for next year.
There's one.
Oh, Heath asked, dumb question coming up. If you dye something too dark, is there a way to lighten it up?
Okay, dumb answer. No.
Always, so the thing that a lot of people maybe don't know is dyes are meant to be diluted. Or if you're worried about something being too dark, dilute them and build your color up. So if you're working with like Angelus or Phoebene's alcohol-based dyes, denatured alcohol, or they both they have dye reducer that you can buy. Use that. Reduce your dye right out of the bottle, especially when you're working with like those dark colors. If you're working with the browns of any kind, or even like the blues sometimes, those can be really dark just right out of the bottle. Lighten them up, and then just go until you like it. Like you can just put a few drops of dye into just some alcohol, and then just go from there. And especially, I mean, flowers are more than one color, or they're multiple versions of a color. So, start out with something light and then build it up darker and play around with it.
Yeah.
I had to do a fish one time. Somebody requested a fish on their knife sheath. I don't do a lot of tooling or color. Like, I do some stamping and then I antique things. Like, that's what I got. And so he asked for this fish. I probably tooled that fish 3 or 4 times. And then played around with coloring before I got it to where I wanted it and I actually put it on the sheath.
That's the way
And that's
you
just
do
what
it.
you gotta do in
Yeah.
order to get and then I just had a bunch of bottles of little dye that I had, put colors in and mostly just alcohol, and then I just painted so I could have my little trout be all sorts of greens and browns and yellows or whatever it was that they wanted, and you just gotta practice.
That's right. But another thing in retrospect, you can do something for practice over and over till you get it the way you like it, and then when you do it on the leather, it
It's not
doesn't
the
turn
same.
out like that. But when you're doing something for practice, generally you cut a few corners.
Okay.
You say, okay, I'm not going to do that part because this is just for practice. When you're doing it on an actual project, you take a lot more pains,
Yeah.
So
Are you saying
right
take your
now,
pains?
still with everything that I do, I'll try something new on a project, and I'll use that for practice for the next project.
Sure.
That's all.
Learn something new every time you do something.
Yeah. but don't be afraid, and do practice. Practice on you know, especially with dye. You know.
Or like spacing, like if you're doing like one of those meander borders and you're like, okay, I need my spacing to be right. Like what distance does my meander need to be at so that I end up at a good spot, and then you can count or whatever.
Yeah.
But like there are just some things where you got to do it a few times. You're gonna waste some leather getting where you want to be.
Okay, let's go back to these fold overs. Yeah, like this right here, this fold over. I forgot to do this one.
No, Denny. That's a broke neck.
A broke neck, okay.
You're gonna have to move. Are you in your corner?
But yeah, I'm in my corner.
Can you do it like here?
Yeah, let me just move a little bit. That'll help.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go back to our flower center liner, and I'm going to use this rounded end. Around the flower center, I used the flat end, but I'm going to use the round end here.
Okay.
And I'm going to go here and just bevel down the inside of this fold over. You see what that did? It made it look like hopefully it made it look like it's hollow underneath, like you're seeing the underside of that folded over.
Point. Oh, will you spin it back around and point us out there on the overhead where we're at?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I was just. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Now I'm going to do this other one the same way.
Yeah.
But that's just a little added plus, you know. Okay. We're done with everything on our list except for the mule's foot and the decorative cuts and cleaning up our undershots. But I'm going to show you guys, what time is it?
It is 12:07.
Okay. Let's do our mule's foot. I'm just going to go to each flower stem. Where do I need to be? About right there.
Well, I'm just looking at where you're going at.
Okay.
Then we'll switch the camera too.
I'm going to start at the top of this stem, not at that flower bulb at the bottom of the flower, but at the top of the stem.
Okay.
And I'm going to put these pretty close together, and each one I'm going to lighten up my stroke successively where it just fades out into nothing.
Ooh.
See what I did there?
Well, I see that. That's fun.
Okay. Now I'm going to do this one. There isn't much to that one. I'm going to do this. Let's go to... I'm doing it on these leaf stems too. Can you still see me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's perfect.
Right. I'm going to go back and I forgot to do something here. I'm going to get this straight veiner. And on these leaves, I've got a little part that I'm going to vein.
Oh, our mule's foot was U851?
Yeah, 851. Yeah.
U851.
What'd you miss, Denny?
Well, I just re-accentuated right here, this little part on this leaf stem.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Part 3, dyeing and finishing. We could do that next Wednesday. Does that sound good?
Sure,
I love it.
sure. We can.
Okay.
That would be a good thing.
That would be a good thing. And then part 4, we can watch Denny lace again on Friday.
Okay. All right, we're done with the small veiner.
Okay.
Now I've got a bigger veiner here too.
Way down right here. Okay.
And this one,
Is that a veiner or a mule's
That's
foot?
a mule
oh,
foot.
mule's foot, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Is that the SKU?
This one is an SKU 857.
Yeah, 857.
And you don't have to use a mule's foot for this. I'll do some of it with a mule's foot, and I'll do some with a swivel knife and show you what you can do without the mule's foot.
Okay.
But everywhere there's, like right here, there's several lines that are coming together, and it just kind of conglomerates everything. But I'm going to use this mule's foot to kind of detract from that. Just like that.
Perfect.
And I'll do it over here too, and then I'll use a swivel knife on some other spots. That's something too, you don't want to overdo that. That's all I'm going to do.
Okay.
Now let me get my swivel knife out. And I'm going to do a little bit right here.
Hang on, I'm gonna be on the wrong. Hang on. Here, say what you're gonna do before you do it. I gotta switch.
I'm going to make some swivel knife cuts.
Can you make that a longer speech? Hold on. Don't do anything yet.
Well, I'm doing this just to show you that you don't have to.
Well, they can't see it.
If you don't
I
have
can't show
a
them.
big mule's foot, you can do this, or you can use a small veiner. If you have a small straight veiner, you can do that.
Still not yet. I'm almost there.
You see, here's the problem with tooling, is that half of tooling is done with one hand and the other half is done kind of the other way. And so you have to have both sides coming in so that you can get both things.
Oh, I only have one zoom lens though that can zoom this close. I guess we'll have to spend money. Oh, hang on. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Now I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to kind of just make myself a little arc. Do 2 or 3 of them.
See,
here.
Denny has hairs on his fingers too. I couldn't help it.
Okay. But see what I did there?
Uh-huh. Yep, and see the difference.
Yeah, and over.
On the other side of the screen, you got it.
Yeah.
On the other side of that flower.
Yeah, right there I used the big mule's foot, and there I used a swivel knife. Now, let me see, where else can I do it? I'll do a few right here.
Perfect. When chicken necks join together, it's in the chicken coop.
And I forgot to use my veiner right here on this one flower stem, so let me do that while I'm at it.
See, and now we're wrong-handed.
Now we're on the other camera.
That's all right, this will just take a second.
But the other camera looks like this. Because
There we
it doesn't
go.
have a lens on it.
All right, that's done.
Okay.
Now, let's do our decorative cuts. This is what everybody struggles with.
Perfect. Okay.
What everybody struggles with. The main thing is remember the flow of your flowers and your all your stems, your chicken necks and everything. The flowers, everything goes towards the center. The chicken necks, everything goes towards the center of the stem, which is always flowing away from you. But I'm just gonna make a few little cuts here.
Can you move just a little bit?
He's getting there.
Oh, there you go. Nope, the other way. There you
Nope.
go. Oh, yeah, close enough.
If you notice here, I went this.
That was the one you went
pebble,
too far down.
No, not necessarily. Maybe I did. But what I'm trying to get at is the outside of this flower petal here is going this direction. So that's the direction I made my decorative cuts go.
Mm-hmm.
On this side is going to be the other direction.
Ah,
See what I mean?
I see.
Can you see me?
We see perfectly. Maybe move your position hand. There you go.
Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the center and come out with a couple.
Why'd you stop by, Rob? Come back over towards Liz. Thank you. No? Yeah. Yeah, move your fat hand.
Just this hand. Maybe hold it somewhere else.
Well, I'm gonna change here because
Okay,
I'm going to
you're
a
good.
different flower.
You're good.
So.
I think we get it. If Denny covers up a couple of them, it's not the end of the world.
Oh, it will be. Trust me.
Now, if you take, after I'm all done with this, if you take it and compare it to the example that I had, they'll probably be completely different.
Well, we can do that next week after we get it all colored.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. Amanda wants to know, will the decorative cut take more dye, turn darker when surrounded by
Every time you break the grain of the leather, it's going to be more absorbent.
Yeah, so if you are dyeing,
Yeah.
it'll soak in more. You're gonna color these flowers, aren't you? You want to do that?
I can, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna color the flowers because Denny usually just resists and antiques and calls it a day.
I've got a belt or two out there that I've colored, I think.
Yeah, I think you do. So we will. I almost thought about maybe asking you to cut the flower centers out and we could put stones in that. But then I realized that this was a wallet and maybe putting stones on a wallet wouldn't be a great idea.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very.
Or we could frame it flat.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of like that idea. We could hang a little picture in here.
Well, don't tilt your knife. Chevy was saying he undercuts his decorative cuts.
He undercuts them
Uh-huh.
on purpose.
No.
You're either holding your knife too flat, too straight up and down, or you've got it leaned one way or another. You want to lean it forward, but not side to side. And if you are going around a tight circle, you want to tip it forward more. The straighter your cut is, the more blade you can have in the leather. And if your leather is too wet, that'll lend itself to being undercut.
Does Liz tool?
I stamp some things from time to time. I mean, like I said, I did a fish one time. I've done a couple little things. I don't tool very much. I tool a little. I am not Denny.
And you should be glad of that. Everyone else is glad.
No. Everybody wishes they could be you.
Oh, you guys. If you only knew.
Victor, I'm not sure exactly if you're asking about like the strips that we cut out of the bridal leather, then like those are kind of could be made to order. We kind of put that caveat on a lot of things that we produce in-house just to let you know that it could take an extra day or two to get that order processed.
Maybe was talking about the bridal bins.
Yeah, the bend we also cut in-house, so that can take a day or two to process.
They come to us as a side, so then we got guys that put straight edges
But
on them for you.
that's usually what that means. So like if you wanted to come in and like buy a Herman Oak bridal bend in-house, we probably would not have it cut. We would need to cut it for you when you were here. So just that's. There we go. Oop, okay, you're perfect.
I don't hear that very often.
All right. Well, if you just come in and you want a full side, as long as we have the color available, that shouldn't be a problem.
Now, if you buy a side, it's shorter. We don't have to do anything. We just send it outside.
Yeah. Or if you want a side, you just put in whatever footage you want for a side or buy the side option. and you should be good to go. Denny, this is just your final little touch-ups, isn't it? You're
Yeah,
just going
except
through.
that I want to show them what we can do with that Pro Pedal
Okay.
when I'm all done as far as cleaning up their
Well, why don't you want to
undershots.
just go ahead and do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
In other words, you want me to quit?
Well, maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna wet this just a little bit more.
Would an angled
Pre-
swivel knife help with the undercutting?
No. Angled swivel knife will probably give you more trouble.
It'll accentuate your undercutting.
Yeah.
It's all in the angle that you're holding it. Hold it up straight up and down. If you don't want to undercut it, don't tilt
Yeah.
your knife to undercut it.
Yeah. Okay, now I've got this Pro Pedal, and I told you that some people use the undershot beveler as a pedal lifter, and I do not. It does lift the pedals to a point, but not a big point. But this will. This is at the very end. I
No,
always.
hold on just a second. Start where you're at and let me make sure my camera is where it needs to be. All right, you're good.
All right, I'm going to take this, and I'm not really going to cut, but I'm going to put. Well, I did cut a little bit there, but I don't know if you could see that, the little dimple that it
Yeah.
made in that. And now I'm just going to raise that up. See
There
what
you
it
go.
did there?
It's difficult to do. There it is.
Okay. Now I'm gonna go around everywhere I use that undershot beveler.
Oh, maybe just over here. Okay. There we go.
And I'm gonna have to turn it.
I know.
Will that bother everybody
You're okay.
tremendously?
You're okay.
All right.
Take note of that area on the granite, and that's where you want to be.
This area
Uh-huh.
right here. All right. Take note. Let me write that down.
Here he goes. Okay, does everybody just really love that crafting song that people like to put on their projects on the TikTok or on Instagram, where it talks about how it costs so much because it takes me hours? They use another word in there, but
Oh yeah?
it's probably one of my favorite little ditties. Cause it is true. Somebody's like, $130. Like, Denny, you're like, it should be way more expensive. Like, it's like, okay, do you want to do this? 1, 2, like, we're just literally one thing at a time. And then you have to redo things because the things that you just did to do other things pushes down the things that you just did. And then it's just this constant little circle. That looks amazing. Like, just that tiny little raise gives it so much, like, attitude at the end.
When we had Jim here, I think Jim was doing the pedal lifting before some of the backgrounding because he would go back but he was cutting more than Denny was with the Pro Pedal.
Yeah, he used
He was
this.
jamming it up.
We
He
made
used
it.
this to cut with. And
Mhm.
And then he would go back and bevel where he had lifted.
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
that's
now I got to move it again.
okay. There we go. That's perfect. We're good.
So that's another thing. If you do use it to cut with, to get it underneath there a little bit more, you could go back and even bevel underneath where you have cut it and lifted it to give it even more 3D.
Darylyn loves that song.
Am I?
You're good.
Out of whack.
And sometimes your hand makes it a little bit blurry, but it's all right.
I mean,
They get the idea.
You're just spinning that
Yeah.
artwork all around in circles.
Are you pushing and lifting, or just lifting and twisting?
I push in and then I lift.
Okay, and then you twist.
If I need to. It depends on the line that you're working on.
Okay. This is a pedal pusher. We have two sizes. A pedal lifter.
Pro pedal.
Pro pedal. Oh, for Pete's sakes.
Pedal pusher sounds like you're
It's a
trying to sell like
pedal pusher.
plant leaves or something.
A pro pedal, and is that the large or the small?
This is the large.
Okay. There's two
I
sizes.
I think we just have a large and a medium now.
Okay. Well, I knew there was just two.
We used to have 3. We used to have a large,
Did we?
medium, and small.
Okay.
But this large is the one that I use mostly.
And then, guys, when you get this tool, it will not be stropped. It will not be polished. It's just going to be a piece of steel that has been cut into a shape, like an angled point. So take it to your polishing wheel, polish it all up, get it all nice and pretty, because otherwise when you try to do this, it's going to stick to your leather and it's not going to do it well just out of the package. So,
There we go.
are you done?
I think so.
Okay.
I might have missed some, but between now and next week when we,
He'll finish it up.
yeah. I
Can we
will.
go to the
Oh,
overhead
yeah,
camera?
that'd be
You wanna
great.
you wanna be
No,
super close?
I don't want to be weird. We're going to frame this. That's what we're going to do with this.
Okay,
Don't forget to sign it.
okay.
We still, yeah.
Yeah. So, alrighty. That's
Which
the
is up
tooling.
and which is down. I'll sign it right now before I forget it.
Whichever way is up for you.
I think the
That-
way
that-
oh,
Which-
flip it- I
which
like that
way
leaf
is
on the
up?
bottom. The leaf on the
This
yeah,
one?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's down. Alrighty. So we will have a part 3 and we will color and finish this. So I like it. So next Wednesday, Denny will get anything fixed up that he feels like needs to be touched up between now and Wednesday. And then when we're back next Wednesday, we will do the coloring.
All right. Sounds good.
Hey, did we make a leather frame? Wasn't that something we were gonna do?
Yeah.
We can
We
do
can do
that,
that.
on Friday. So,
On Friday?
yeah, so Wednesday we'll color it. And then if you want me to, we can just do like a leather border and I could stamp it.
Okay.
We could just do an easy stamping, a stamped border, and then we can make a leather frame for our leather picture.
Sounds good.
Yes. And then we
good.
don't have to plan anything else for next week. I love it. Alrighty.
You don't have to plan anything. It's already planned. Next week is already planned.
Exactly.
It's not that you don't have
We're
to plan
done.
anything. It's already planned. I think is what you meant to say.
That is 100% what I
Okay.
meant to say. Alrighty, guys, that was awesome. Those were some of the best tooling shots that we have ever gotten. So I hope everybody, I know that like Dee
I
was like,
tried
this
to-
is it.
I tried to stay off camera as much as possible.
I am super pleased with that. Alrighty, guys. I hope everybody has a lovely weekend. For those of you that are live shoppers, don't forget to complete those estimates. You've got them in your inboxes, or go to your Springfield Leather account and get that done for us so Tony and I can get those orders filled. Let's see here. Can one just buy the panel for $130? I don't know, Michael. I'm pretty excited about what I just came up with, so no. Alrighty, guys. Have a lovely weekend, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
See
Bye.
ya.